Hey everyone, this is Mary Catherine from CrochetChiq. Today I'm going to show you guys an easy, simple way that you can wind a ball of yarn. Now you might need to wind a ball of yarn for a couple of different reasons. Maybe you tore out an Afghan or granny square and you don't know what to do with the yarn so it doesn't get tangled. Maybe you purchased the yarn and it wasn't wound for you, because sometimes when you get homespun and homemade yarn it won't come in a ball. Also, if you have to use two strands as one, it's a lot easier to wind the ball. There's a millions of reasons, especially with filet crochet, tapestry work, all that kind of stuff. So let me show you the pile of yarn I have. I did have a granny square with this yarn, and I was going to make a big, huge blanket out of it, and then I discovered that the cost effectiveness on how big the granny was working up per ball of yarn decided to be, if I would have made a whole blanket, it would have been like over $60 in yarn, and not quite in my budget. So anyways, now I've got all of this yarn, and I need to do something so that it's not to waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this right here. This is the one strand that I have that when I took it out, I laid it very carefully. So what you're going to do is, this is how I start it. There's lots of different ways, and this is for a regular ball of yarn. It's not a center pull. Right, so you just kind of wrap it around your hand. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you do it. You're going to wrap it like a whole bunch of times, especially if you have a whole skew of yarn that you have to do, which is what I have. You're going to wrap it a bunch. If you have not that much yarn you need to do, you could stop right about there. Don't do it too tight, otherwise it's going to be kind of hard to pull off your hand, and then you're not going to be able to get it off your hand. It's going to feel pretty stuck. So we just keep winding. Not sure how blurry this is going to come out, because as I'm watching it, it looks kind of blurry, so we'll see. Just keep winding and winding. The yarn I'm using right now is Loops and Thread by Charisma in the color of Cupcake. Gorgeous. I think it's called actually Chocolate Cupcake. Okay, so I've got this big, huge chunk right here. You just kind of pull it off your hand, and now you're going to wrap it in the center part, like this. And just keep wrapping and wrapping. There's not like a certain number of times you want to do it, just kind of whatever works for you. So as you can see, I'm starting to get a little bit more. Then what I do is I fold it in half, and I'm going to wrap it to where I'm wrapping the part to hold it so it's held together while you're folding it in half. I can't talk today. So we're just going to keep wrapping, and then we slowly start to rotate the ball. As you can see, I'm rotating it. And just, a little bit, you just do a little bit here, and where I'm doing like 6 or 7, and then I move it slightly. So now it should start to look kind of not really a ball shape, but kind of like a flattened smush ball. That's what it looks like all around. So you're just going to keep on going until you go around the whole thing once. And then what I do is I hold the yarn with this finger, and I just start doing it the opposite way, because we want it to eventually get a circular shape. And if your ball's not perfect, doesn't really matter. The main point is you're trying to find a way to get the ball wound so that your yarn isn't getting tangled while you're trying to use it, or while you're waiting for it to be used. Because when your yarn's just sitting in a big pile, not a good idea. Especially if you have a cat, a dog, a child, or anyone else, a husband, who might come along and move it. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, but oh my goodness. It's a lot easier to invest the time now in making a ball, as opposed to leaving it to chance and having to spend hours trying to untangle your yarn, or just having to go out and buy a new one. So now you can see right there, that's where all the yarn is being kind of wrapped in the same spot. That part gets a little bulky. So what we do is then we take it from it being this way, we put it to this part where it's not bulky, we start wrapping that way. Sometimes it comes off a little bit. There's no real, set way. Just whatever spot you do so that you can get the ball. They also have, if this is just not your cup of tea and not the thing you want to spend time doing, you can get ball winders. They have them at all the craft stores. I recommend doing it when they have one of their really good 40% off coupons, so then you don't have to spend the entire thing. But if you don't have one, this is just the cool and fun way to wind a ball. And you just keep going until you have the rest of your yarn on the ball. So there you go. That's how you make your own yarn ball. Thank you for watching.